It's a war at sea, a war with no battles, no monuments, only casualties. A world of shadows, subterfuge, and submarines. That's right, today we're going to look at the life, campaigns, and most importantly, the medals of the Vilnius schoolmaster himself, that superb submariner, Marko Ramius. With 4 decades of service in the Soviet Navy and a medal ribbon rack as long as my arm, Submarine Commander Ramius is no buckaroo.
Ramius's ribbon bar consists of 20 awards and shows 9 distinguished service or meritorious service medals, 4 loosely equivalent service or campaign medals, 1 mystery medal, 4 jubilee or commemorative medals, and finally 2 medals for good conduct. I just want to stress that Soviet medal awards are harder to gauge than other countries' medals, as many are awarded with vague titles for example, strengthening military cooperation, so it's hard to ascertain exactly what category of medal that is. In most other countries, there seems to be a distinct separation between campaign, gallantry, and commemoration medals, but to me, on some of these medals, the lines seem a bit blurry. Especially for post-World War II awards. Some medals can be awarded to both civilians and military for a variety of different reasons, so just bear that in mind.
So this video will be split into 2 parts. The first, we'll be looking at Ramius's background, touching on Soviet underwater strategy during the Cold War, and looking into that beautiful beast, the Typhoon class submarine. We'll then move on to his medals.
The Hunt for Red October is set in 1984, during the height of the Cold War. A legend in the submarine community, Captain Marko Ramius is aged in his late 50s and claims to have served for 40 years. Curiously, Ramius, played by Sean Connery, doesn't have any World War II awards, so for argument's sake, we can say he gave 40 years as a rough estimate of his service and actually joined the Navy in 1946, giving him 38 years service. Ramius plans to defect to the United States with his state-of-the-art submarine, the Red October. This submarine is equipped with a revolutionary stealth propulsion system, making it nearly undetectable. Facing the Soviet Navy chasing them down, a Navy cook trying to sabotage the boat. No, not him. Though weirdly, the chef's name was Putin. Ramius and his select cohort of officer defectors face significant challenges in their quest to defect, and are aided by the US attack submarine USS Dallas. The revolutionary Red October is a Project 941 Typhoon class submarine. During the Cold War, Soviet submarine strategy focused on quantity, relying on overwhelming numbers coupled with a wide range of different specializations for submarines. Approximately 40 classes of submarines were developed by the Soviet Union during the period. Typhoon Project 941 was one of these. In the movie, the interior of the Typhoon submarine looks more like the bridge of the Starship Enterprise rather than the control room of a typical shark of steel. If any submariners are watching, what do you think about the reality of this movie? Hollywood fantasy or gritty realism?
A total of 6 Typhoon-class submarines were built by the Soviet Union between 1976 and 1989. One more was being built but not completed. We must assume the Red October was another.
Soviet Project 941 was developed with the objective to match the armament of the US SSBN Ohio Class submarines. These Soviet Typhoon monsters were 23,000 tons on the surface. That's about the same weight as the contemporary 1980s at the time Royal Navy Ark Royal class aircraft carriers. 175 metres long, these Typhoon bad boys could travel at over 22 knots on the surface and nearly 30 knots submerged. The Typhoon also housed 20 nuclear-tipped ballistic missiles and various other weaponry, such as torpedoes. For the crew, however, with the space and conditions, life aboard was not too bad. There was no worry about being smelly for these submariners, as the Typhoons had a plunge pool and sauna. I've also heard rumours of a bird aviary on board. I'm not sure if that's true or just rumint, as the British forces would say. Americans and Canadians would later assist decommissioning many of these submarines after the Cold War. The Typhoon's missiles would weigh 90 tons at launch. The US equivalent Trident D5 missiles weigh just under 60 tons as a comparison. These Typhoons were also reportedly quiet, unlike many of the Soviet pre-1980s boats who produced a lot of cavitation and were easy to track.
What I find interesting is that quite a few of the Soviet or Russian submarine classes have surface-to-air weapon systems aboard. It's something I've not really seen on submarines of other nations. It's likely designed to take out an ASW helicopter or similar platform, or perhaps fire at a missile that's coming into them when they're trapped on the surface. Lithuanian-born, Ramius rose to become a master instructor in submarine warfare in the Red Fleet. This fleet included a wide range of submarine types, from diesel-electric to nuclear.
The Red Fleet was divided into 4 major fleets: the Northern, Pacific, Black Sea and Baltic fleets. Nearly 1,500 submarines were built by the Soviets between 1950 and 1990. Ramius, attached to the Northern Fleet, was on the front lines in confronting NATO forces in the North Atlantic. Attempting to chase down and track these leviathans of the deep up in the North Atlantic and Arctic during the 1980s were the Soviet Union's fearless foes and adversaries, NATO submarines. USS Sturgeon and Los Angeles class attack subs, as well as the British Swiftsure, Valiant, Trafalgar and Churchill class hunter-killers, would prowl the depths on the hunt to track and chase down the Typhoons. So, before we dive into the medals, no pun intended, I just wanted to mention the losses inflicted during the Cold War by this relentless underwater game of cat and mouse. A game of chess, as Ramius called it. I'm just showing nuclear submarine losses until 1991, none others, but 7 boats were lost, 2 American and 5 Soviet. These don't count numerous other accidents that occurred that involved loss of life. I want to go into this fascinating and tragic story in another video on K-19, the Widowmaker, so we shall move on for now. Although strictly not a medal, Ramius sports a Soviet Submarine Commander's Badge. This award was worn on jackets by commanders of the Soviet Navy. The badge was made of anodized metal alloy and enamel. We're now going to look at the top 8 medals in more detail, and then whiz through the remainder of Ramius's awards for the sake of time. Number 1. The Order of Lenin. Made out of various enamel, the Order of Lenin was created in 1930 as an award named after Vladimir Lenin, the leader of the October Revolution. Given to both civilians and military, it was awarded to members of the armed forces for exemplary service. The order was the highest civil decoration in the Soviet Union. There were 4 versions of the medal, types 1 to 4, the last issued between 1943 and 1991. This would have been the type awarded to Ramius. Over 400,000 in total have been awarded, and they can be awarded multiple times. Interestingly, 4 US citizens have also been awarded the medal, as was Ho Chi Minh. The last medal variant shows the obverse featuring a central disc with the profile of Vladimir Lenin and Lenin inscribed. Lenin's profile is also surrounded by a wreath of wheat. A hammer and sickle and a red star occurs on the wreath. The reverse has a serial and mint mark. The ribbon is red with 2 yellow stripes near the edging. Medal number 2, the Order of the October Revolution. The Order of the October Revolution was an award given to people and groups in the Soviet Union for their contributions to the state and communism. It was established in 1967 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the October Revolution. The award is given for various reasons, most likely for military personnel. It is for a particular courage demonstrated during a struggle with the enemies of the Soviet state, or enhancing the defences of the Soviet Union. The obverse shows a red star with the Navy cruiser Aurora which participated in the October Revolution with a hammer and sickle below. Of note, the actual ship Aurora was itself awarded the order, the only ship ever to have received this award. The ribbon is red with 5 pale blue stripes running through the centre. Maybe Ramius was awarded this on a previous top-secret mission, perhaps lurking off the US eastern seaboard, eavesdropping on capitalist rock and roll. Number 3. The Order for Service to the Homeland in the Armed Forces of the USSR, 3rd class. That's a tongue twister. This is a badge, not a medal, and it's awarded for exemplary service in the armed forces during both war and peacetime. You got some good privileges with this medal: priority of living quarters, yearly free public transport, free vouchers for medical care, and 15% increase in pension. It's worn on the right side of the chest. The ribbon that comes with the badge is light blue with 3 central yellow stripes. Number 4, the Order of Glory, 3rd class. Established in 1943, this was awarded to enlisted men for bravery in the face of the enemy. 3rd class awards were issued for Soviet support during the Korean War from 1950 to 53, the 1956 invasion of Hungary, and a border clash with China in 1969. Perhaps Ramius was involved in the Korean War in some classified naval support capacity before gaining a commission. A 5-pointed star, the obverse shows the Spasskaya Tower of the Kremlin with glory inscribed on a scroll. The reverse has USSR within a ring with a raised rim and a serial number. The ribbon is orange with 3 black stripes, known as a Georgian ribbon after St. George. Number 5, Order of Glory, 2nd class. Similar to the 3rd class, the central disc is coloured orange with a slightly different design of the Spasskaya Tower. The ribbon is also the same as the 3rd class. Number 6, the Order of the Red Banner of Labour. Established in 1920, this award is to honour great deeds and services to the Soviet state and society in fields of production, science, culture, literature, the arts, education, sports, health, and other areas of labour activities. The military equivalent is the Order of the Red Banner. I'm not sure why Ramius was awarded the Red Banner of Labour instead of the military order, but maybe it's to do with assisting development and trials of the propulsion system, which I guess is a scientific endeavour, or maybe he conducted some form of oceanic surveys, such as looking at thermal layers. The obverse shows a hammer and sickle over a wreath with the red star below and a red flag with USSR above the image. Over 1 million of these were awarded. The reverse has a serial number and mint mark. The ribbon is light blue silk with dark blue edge stripes. Number 7, the Ushakov Medal. The Ushakov Medal is a Russian state decoration that recognises bravery in sea warfare as well as excellent performance in naval combat training that has real risk to life. Something Ramius would be deeply familiar with. An estimated 14,000 to 16,000 medals of this type were awarded from its creation in 1944 until 1991. The medal is silver. The obverse has a bust of Admiral Ushakov with the inscription of his name and 2 laurel branches. The reverse has a naval anchor. The ribbon is silk blue with dark blue and white edge stripes. There is also a chain resembling an anchor chain on the ribbon. The medal still continues in the Russian Federation. Ramius was awarded this twice. The next one is for saving life, perhaps similar to a US Navy and Marine Corps medal. Medal number 8, for the salvation of the drowning. Established in 1957, the medal is awarded for showing courage and resourcefulness in water rescue and saving life. Made of brass, the obverse shows an image of a swimmer pulling a victim of drowning to safety. The words for the salvation of the drowning are inscribed around the image. The reverse shows a hammer and sickle, USSR inscribed, and a laurel branch. The ribbon is pale blue with a central white stripe and multiple thin white stripes on the edges. Right, so we're going to go through the last few medals quickly now for time, otherwise this will turn into a 40-minute video.
The next 2 medals are more surface or campaign related.
So we have the Medal for the Defence of the Soviet Transarctic, twice awarded. The Medal for the Strengthening of the Brotherhood in Arms, twice awarded.
The final medals we have are Commemoration, Jubilee and Good Conduct medals. It's likely Ramius would have been stripped of his last ones for his behaviour.
Jubilee Medal 40 years of the Armed Forces of the USSR, Jubilee Medal, 50 years of the Armed Forces of the USSR, and Jubilee Medal, 60 years of the Armed Forces of the USSR. Medal in commemoration of the 250th anniversary of Leningrad, now called St. Petersburg. Medal for Impeccable Service, 2nd class. I guess this is a Good Conduct Medal. Medal for Impeccable Service, 3rd class. Therefore, in summary for our calculating communist comrade, we have Order of Lenin, Order of October Revolution, Order of Service to the Homeland in the service of the Armed Forces of the USSR, Order of Glory, 3rd class, Order of Glory, 2nd class, Order of Red Banner of Labour, Ushakov Medal, awarded twice, Salvation of Drowning Medal, Defence of Soviet Transarctic, awarded twice, Strengthening Brotherhood of Arms / Military Cooperation, awarded twice. Mystery Medal here, I have no idea what it is. I could not identify a ribbon that had a dark brown or black central stripe with yellow edges. This video is the first time I've really looked into Soviet awards. The nearest I could see was a Battle of Merit ribbon with grey or yellow stripes. Is that correct? I'm sure there's someone far more knowledgeable who'll be able to tell me. Help me out. Let me know what you think in the comments. We then have Jubilee medals for 40, 50 and 60 years of the Armed Forces of the USSR, 250th anniversary of Leningrad, and finally 2 medals for impeccable service, 2nd and 3rd class. Not to mention, we have his Submarine Commander's badge. If you're interested in the life of these staunch, stoic submariners, check out my video on Crimson Tide's Super Smooth Commander Hunter. A link should pop up soon. At some point as well, I will get around to doing Captain Ramsey from that movie.
Where I am going, you cannot follow. And it's not Montana. Thanks for watching. I hope you found some value from this. I'll see you in the next one.